Good morning and happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you all for joining us for a lunch and learn session of Parent University. I'm Marlon Cousin. I'm the community liaison for the East Baton Rouge Parish School System, and I am very pleased to have as our guest presenters today Mrs. Tanya Chapman Griffin. She is a licensed prevention professional with our eye care department. I also have Dr. Sahara Haney. She is coordinator of technology integration, and she's with our instructional technology team. Some experts in the room today, guys. So, playing off of St. Patrick's today, today's informational session is entitled Don't Be Green About Bullying. So, I want to remind you if you have any questions or comments, please utilize our chat room and we'll do our best to reply today. And if we cannot get to those questions and reply, we will reply in a timely manner via email. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our guest presenters, Tanya Chapman Griffin and Dr. Sahara Haney.
Hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, good morning. It's not noon yet. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. We're so happy to have you all with us. We're letting people come on in. Thank you so much, parents, staff members, community partners. We really appreciate you today on this St. Patrick's Day. So happy St. Patrick's Day. We hope you have your green on. And as you can see, Dr. Haney has assisted us in this beautiful title, Cyberbullying and Beyond. Don't be green about bullying. So I'll let Dr. Haney talk a little bit about EBR Ed Tech and what she does with the district.
All right. So once again, welcome you guys. As you guys can see on the title slide, there is a bit.ly. We will share that at the end, so you will have access to this entire presentation. My name is Sahara Haney. I'm the coordinator of Ed Tech. So Ed Tech is charged with empowering all of our stakeholders across the entire district with how to effectively use technology. So not just integrating it into the classroom, but also how to be a good digital citizen online. And we'll talk more about that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Haney. And I am Tanya Chapman Griffin. I am the Quality Assurance Manager for the Eye Care Program. Hope you've already seen information about the Eye Care Program, but if you have not, we focus on preventing alcohol, drug, and violence in the school system as well as in the community. We'll talk more about the mission and the vision of the Eye Care Program. But if you need us, we are located in every single East Baton Rouge Parish School, and we are here to help your students, help you as parents with resources and information about cyberbullying prevention and bullying prevention.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and remove us and we'll have the big screen so you guys can see all of the data, all of the information at one time.
All right, and here we are. We have the eye care vision. It states that the East Baton Rouge Parish School System students and staff will be educated on effective social emotional coping strategies and trauma informed approaches in prevention education. What does that mean? That means that we are available to assist you with your students in the district with healthy coping skills, helping to provide information that can help them get over being stressed during the test, help them realize the difference between bullying and teasing, and to also provide trauma informed approaches. Eye Care will advocate for students, community, and staff to have safe and drug free schools while also empowering schools and families by providing resources, technology tools, and trainings in evidence based prevention education, just like we're here today. We love to help to connect the dots. So, Dr. Haney?
And for EdTech, our mission is to work together with all of our EdTech, our educational stakeholders, excuse me. That means students, families, school leaders, district staff, all of everyone that's within our actual EBR ecosystem, and work towards a shared goal supporting every student in developing the skills and knowledge needed to succeed in a progressive, tech reliant global society through a dynamic tech integrated learning environment that is reliable, effective, ethical, and transformative.
And Dr. Haney, I love that you said ethical and transformative. So we're
Yes.
here today collectively working across two different programs in our district. I love our ed tech department because they help to connect us with things like StreamYard. We're streaming live on YouTube, but this is also a recording to have later on, working with Mr. Kuzan, who is over the Parent University. And of course, I'm the eye care program. So working collectively for transformative education purposes.
Towards a larger mission also, definitely.
Yes, this is amazing. So, our
Mhm.
presentation objectives discuss differences between digital immigrants and digital natives, defining bullying and cyberbullying, discussing why it is important to identify warning signs. So parents, you'll really enjoy those. Identifying mindful practices around safe learning and environments and protective factors, discussing the RIP method. And when you see those letters, you're probably thinking rest in peace. You're going to learn what it really is. And identify how parents and teachers can support students as upstanders, not just bystanders.
Yes.
And so we're going to go ahead and do a little icebreaker. If you are comfortable, and I hope that you are, we love to see, like the students say, the chat light up. So you have access to actually type on whatever device you're looking at. We want you to type in the chat and we will see it. What you are grateful for today. What are you grateful for today in this moment? It could be anything. It could be something personal. It could be something professional. It could be something that just pops up in your head, something easy like a nice hot cup of coffee or maybe a slushie, right? You can tell I'm thirsty. So what are you grateful for? And we're going to look in the comments and see what you put. And we'll also do the same. So while they're doing that, Dr. Haney, what are you grateful for in this moment?
I am grateful just to be here with you and Mr. Kuzan, sharing all the things that I love about, which is technology, as well as how to effectively support all of our learners across our entire district. I know sometimes it can be very overwhelming in the 21st century digital landscape with all of the social medias, the
Yeah.
websites, everything is kind of bombarding us at one time. So it can be kind of overstimulating. But I'm grateful that we're here to share our knowledge, hopefully, fingers crossed, and that you guys leave here today with at least one new thing learned.
Yes. Well, for me, I am really, really grateful to be here with you and Mr. Kuzan as well. I am grateful that we work in an environment where we're able to help students, but also help each other out, right? So you and Mr. Kuzan gave me a great pep talk before we got on the call. So I'm grateful just for family and friends who are able to motivate you even in the midst of having a lot going on. And so I see in the chat, Dr. Haney, we have someone that says grateful for friends and family, grateful
Yes.
for teammates and colleagues, and grateful for this
Beautiful
weather.
weather.
Ooh, wee. So you want to add to that?
So one thing I can say, I know right now it's beautiful, but our local EBR weatherman told us earlier it's supposed to storm tomorrow. But even though it's going to storm tomorrow, that will not get us down, right, Mr. Washington? We're going to continue to just be amazing tomorrow, regardless of the weather. And so hopefully the beautiful weather is here, but it will not get you down tomorrow. We do have someone else in the chat that just said they're grateful for their awesome coworkers. Teamwork
Yeah.
makes the dream work. And yes, I
Yes.
completely agree, and I love that statement.
I
Teamwork
do
does
too.
make the dream work.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And Dr. Haney, it feels so good to not only hear you say it, but to also read it.
Yes.
So that's something that you can do at home with your kiddos, your preteens and teens, as they like to be called. You know, what are you grateful for? Sitting around the dinner table and just asking something as simple as, what are you grateful for today? What are you proud of, even in
Yes.
yourself? Good icebreaker. So we have up here a bullying pre and post evaluation. So we give this to our students. We actually go through and teach third grade and up specifically this information that we're going to share with you today. We also give them a pre and post evaluation to see what they know already. And these are the questions that we ask. What is bullying? And we let them put that in their own words. What are some types of bullying? What are some of the bad things that can happen if someone is bullied? Who can you tell if you're being bullied or teased? And of course, we want all of our students to say that they can come and tell parents, they can tell teachers, or adults that they trust, and people who can give them the correct information. And then, is teasing someone okay? And we actually go through and discuss what are some examples of bullying, what are some examples of teasing, and how can they be cross-referenced, and kind of clear up some of the thoughts that they have about bullying and teasing, and have them categorize these experiences. So we wanted to show you all that evaluation just for you to be able to know what are the specific questions that we're asking at the beginning and the end when we're teaching the students these lessons.
And then now, Tanya, I am definitely not an eye care specialist, but
Yeah.
I love this evaluation because it allows the respondent to be very reflective. So
Yeah.
as educators, as parents, as just a person in general, we should always be reflective on what we are doing. So this kind of lets you check yourself, check your knowledge. Is teasing someone okay? We all have been guilty of saying something maybe not that nice while we're driving in the car in traffic and someone cuts us off, or anything like that. We may have done some of these things before, but we're able to kind of check ourselves as well as evaluate our knowledge
Yeah.
to see if we are a part of this issue and this problem.
That's right. That's right. And it also helps us as the professionals know,
Yes.
are we teaching enough of the information that they need to hear? Are we
Yes.
making it clearer and concise for them to be able to understand good choices and bad choices? And
So
so
on
I
this
love
next,
this picture. Yes.
sorry.
No, I
So
love
this
this picture.
next
I
slide,
love it.
I know because it literally snapshots what this next slide is about. So digital immigrants versus digital natives. So without knowing what both of those terms mean, you can literally break it up and kind of figure it out. So a native is someone that's born in it, right? So a digital native is someone that's born in the digital age versus an immigrant who may have been brought into that actual digital age. So we'll talk more about what those two terms, excuse me, both mean. But this little comic, I love it. I show it anytime I present. So you have the dad, maxing and relaxing. He's like, "Hi, sweetie, how was school today?" The little girl's like, "Oh, girl, oh, dad, go to my blog and read more about it." So he's sitting in his chair reading the newspaper while she's like, "Dad, go to my blog." Like, okay, this is great, but go to my blog. So this is a great snapshot to see how we as people are talking amongst each other, and you're going to have your natives and your immigrants corresponding with each other, discussing with each other in the same household. And so just to talk more about what an actual digital immigrant is, they are the adopters of technology. They prefer to talk in person. They're logical learners most of the time. They typically focus on one task at a time, and they may get their information from a traditional news site, meaning a newspaper or maybe a WAV.com, very traditional type of things, right? Versus a digital native. Now, this part is a little skeptical, but most of the research says that they have been born during or after the digital age, meaning after 1980. Always on or attached to the phone or other device, which is true. I am a digital native, so I can definitely agree with that. Highly familiar with computers and internet from early age. So I always joke and say our kids, our babies are literally born out the womb with a tablet or a phone in their hand. And it's true, right? If you have a baby around you, give them your phone and they will know how to work it better than you sometimes. Easily adapts and adopts, as well as multimedia oriented. So these two terms are really important because this can impact cyberbullying. Most of the time, our parents are digital immigrants. They're not that familiar with all the things that our digital natives are interacting with on a daily basis.
Wow.
So educating yourself on what your digital native can possibly be influenced from or by will help you provide support to them in the event that they are cyberbullied. So let us know in the chat, which category do y'all fall in? And you don't have to say it out loud. I get it. You can just kind of say it in your mind. But if you would like to share it out loud, you can definitely put it in the chat. For myself, I'm a digital native. Sorry, digital. Yeah, I am digital native. Yeah.
Yeah.
Digital native for myself.
So Dr. Haney, I have something that I'm thinking about now that you've told us more about
Mhm.
the differences. I think that I was a digital immigrant and then the pandemic happened and now I think I'm more of a digital native. Is that possible?
Yes, I can. It can definitely be fluent. It's definitely fluent, and that's why I hate saying the year. You have to be born by a certain year,
Yeah.
because immediately, just because I was born in 1980 does not mean I am that fluent in technology, right? My job is technology, so I'm much more fluent with technology versus someone that is my same age that may work at the Advocate, that is a newspaper. They may prefer things paper based. So I think it's definitely fluent, and it's based on the situation that you are also placed in.
Okay. Wow. And so nobody hasn't said anything in the chat yet, but I'm thinking that maybe because we're digital immigrants.
Maybe, and like I said,
Maybe.
that's okay. That is perfectly okay. But I'm pretty sure, like you said, COVID has really stretched a lot of us, as well as made us very uncomfortable to move out of that technology is scary to okay, I can kind of
Oh,
survive a little bit.
yeah. Okay, I do see one. I see somebody said, I am a digital
Digital
immigrant,
immigrant.
January 1980s baby. Yes, Ms. Washington. We're striving to get there, aren't we?
Yes, yes, yes.
No, I think that that's great.
So one thing I want everyone to be mindful of is the digital landscape. So we know what a landscape is, right? If I go outside and I may see a green pasture or a farm or even a street, could be considered landscape, whatever's around you. But there is something called digital landscape, and this is where cyberbullying takes place. So a digital landscape is personal relationships heavily influenced by the bubble, quote unquote bubble, that the internet represents. Belief that nothing can go wrong and limited consequences in the bubble. So I love this quote from Jody Hawkins. It says, like a face tattoo, the things your child posts to the internet or public forums could be discoverable by college recruiters, employers are those out to paint your child in a negative way. So we all have all seen the news stories, the news broadcast, whatever the case may be, about a child maybe cyberbullying someone on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, posting inappropriate things, maybe posting an inappropriate video with specific language or music in the background, and their scholarship or they got expelled from school. They had negative consequences. So we have to make sure that our students understand that, yeah, you're no longer in quote unquote the physical world, but you are in some kind of digital landscape online. So your online life will have real life or could have real life consequences.
That's right. Oh my goodness. And I'm thinking about like the digital footprint, like you said, that stays with you
Yes.
wherever you go, no matter where, you know.
So so
Oh
whenever
my,
I was a classroom teacher, I would always do this activity with I taught fourth and fifth grade as well as sixth grade. And whenever I would teach them, the very beginning of the school year, I would have them Google me and see what came up. And I would
oh,
like ask them, "Hey, is it positive news, you guys? Is it negative news?" And then I would just discuss with them, "Hey, whatever I do, you may think you delete it, but it's still going to be on the internet." So having them understand that, yeah, you're online, but online is still real life. So you're not exempt from the consequences that would occur if you were in person doing this very negative, having this negative behavior in person.
yeah, that's a really good activity.
Yes,
I think
yes,
I'll do
yes.
that later.
Yes, yeah, I love Googling myself because you never know what pops up, girl. You gotta check it sometimes. A couple of more things to be mindful of about the digital landscape. It accepts internet as the primary medium for social interaction. So, like I said earlier, I know for myself, Sahara Haney, my phone is like one of my best friends. It's always in my hands. I'm always on the computer. I work in technology, so clearly my laptop is my other best friend. So, understanding that the internet is a primary medium, I know sometimes parents don't really recognize that, but your kids, your children do. They understand that. They often probably are more comfortable with public or social media persona. They may be very quiet in person in class, but on the internet, they're this whole different kind of influencer. We all hear that word online. They may spend a lot of time online, up to 30. That's a lot of time, but up to 13 hours per week. That has increased just in 5 years from 8 to 13 hours per week, and they may spend a lot of their time on social media networks as well as gaming. That is a very popular thing now, also watching gamers or actually being the gamer on YouTube.
Wow.
So here are a few examples. This is not the entire exhaustive list, but these are a few examples of some digital landscapes that I tell parents to always be mindful of. I know I have a little sister, she's 13, she's in middle school. She doesn't have an Instagram or a Snapchat or a TikTok, but she has YouTube, right? And she doesn't have YouTube Kids, but she has access to the main YouTube that could have a negative impact on her and her overall self-image of herself, her mindfulness, her mental health, etc. So being mindful of what they're interacting on, having their passwords to items so that you can kind of check and make sure that they're not being bullied online, and that they have that positive kind of aura protecting them, that they're not being bombarded with negativity, is something to be mindful of, as well as PlayStation and Nintendo. That may not seem like a digital landscape or a social media account, but in essence, it is, because you can chat with others either verbally or typing on both of those platforms. So being mindful of all the different kinds of social media platforms that your children are interacting on or with on a daily basis is something to also have in the back of your minds.
And that's interesting you say that with the games. I was literally just thinking, I understand social media being in a possible avenue, right, to
Yeah.
be concerned about, but I completely forgot about the gaming systems. One of my daughters talks about
Hmm.
Among Us changing the chat option.
Yes.
So even downloading some of these apps on our cell phones, we should be mindful of, and be really, really aware and have conversations like that may not be safe, and if you're
Yes.
not the right age for some of these things, I believe the CDC says wait until as in eighth
Mhm.
grade, for
Mhm.
cell phones and having like your own tablets and things like that. Until then, use your parent or your guardian's devices, and like you said,
Mhm.
have access to those passwords no matter how old they are.
Yeah. And even if you go to Gmail, for example, because I have a Gmail account, their rule is 13 years or older, but I know some 5-year-olds that have email addresses, you know? And
Yeah.
so you have to think about what are they using those email addresses for, to create profiles, to create accounts, etc. on these social media accounts, because you have to have a Gmail or an email account, I should say, to even have an account on a lot of these social media accounts. So
Right. And
yeah.
our students are really, really smart.
They are. I wish they
Ooh,
used
they're
their
so
power for
smart.
good sometimes, because they can, like, if they could harness their power and use it for good, they can literally take over the world in a positive way. So
Yeah.
like they are brilliant, but sometimes they use their powers for not the best thing, and that is sometimes to kind of get around the security measures that are in place to keep them safe. So
Well,
yeah,
Doctor, I'm happy you're teaching me as a parent as well.
good, and I'm glad. I'm glad. So let's go ahead and get into cyberbullying.
Right. So in East Baton Rouge Parish Schools, there's a zero tolerance to bullying, right? So we want our students to first be aware that if bullying is an occurrence, that it is something that can be punitive, as well as our parents. So we're here to actually inform you about what bullying is, what it can look like, so that we can have deeper conversations about it around the dinner table or even with your school communities. Okay.
And I love that you said have deeper conversations about it. So when I
Yeah.
don't have children yet, but all of my friends that do have children, and I know whenever I was a kid, my mom would always ask me, "So how was your day today?"
Yeah.
Fine. And that was it. I would just say the word fine. But having those deeper conversations to really kind of drill down to how was your day? How
Yeah.
was your weekend? What did you do last night before you went to sleep, etc. Like really having those deeper conversations that you can kind of hopefully identify if they are interacting with someone that is negative in their life, and of
Yeah.
course provide support.
That's right. So, and I love that. So, what we're going to do is we're going to first talk about the definition, right? So, what is bullying? Simply put, a pattern of one or more of the following: gestures, maybe even somebody making faces at you, written, verbal, electronic communication, name calling, threatening harm, taunting, malicious teasing,
Mhm.
or spreading untrue rumors. So, that's something that's not physical. And what's interesting is when we talk to our students, they believe that bullying is only physical. Dr. Haney just talked about cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is not physical, and it's something that can happen 24 hours a day. All right. Bullying is also something that happens repeatedly, purposefully. It can include shunning, excluding from activities, someone possibly exuding power and control. Not even letting a specific person into your friend group can be considered a type of bullying. And we talk to parents, a lot of parents are like, wait, what? So making faces at somebody can be considered bullying? Yes, but it is also a recipe. It's a recipe put together, and we'll talk about that when we get to the RIP. All right. So our next slide actually talks about the types. So we have verbal, physical, mental and emotional, and then we have cyberbullying here. Well, the reason we've broken up into these categories is because we want you to understand that verbal can look like somebody doing the name calling, somebody
Yeah.
calling you a bad word, right? So some of our elementary students will say, well, that person called me a bad name. Well, that can be a category, an example of verbal bullying. Physical, touching, kicking,
Mhm.
hurting, burning, stabbing, even, right? Mental and emotional. This one here is very, very important to understand as a parent, because we have students who may be in unhealthy friendships and unhealthy
Yeah.
relationships. Dr. Haney, we just got out of February. The eye care program talked about teen dating violence and abuse. Well,
Wow.
on a middle school and the elementary school level, when they're not in these I'll say romantic relationships, right? We're having unhealthy friendships. So
Mhm.
if you have a friend who may be, pulling your hair every day, or you think it's your friend, right? Or somebody who's stealing your lunch, or taking your money, or calling you names, or doesn't want to play with you on the playground and has other kids laughing at you constantly, and you feel a certain way about that,
Mhm.
that could be mental and emotional bullying. And
Yeah.
then, of course, the cyberbullying, like we talked about when it comes to the technology use and people saying things or doing things on Instagram, right? So we talk about certain people putting things in the chat. Our students know how to do DMs, Dr.
Mhm.
Haney. That's
Yes.
direct
Direct
messaging.
messages. Yep.
Ooh, group chats. They know how to hashtag TBH, which means to be honest. And I'm sure we have some parents who are watching now. They're like, yeah, I know about that too.
And also, Tanya, one thing that I know my team has also realized, and we're trying to bring to the attention of our teachers and school leaders, something as simple as the Google Doc. The
Oh,
kids are now sharing a Google Doc and using it as a chat room
a
to
live document.
cyberbully. Exactly. So
Oh
it's
my
like a
goodness.
chat. It's like a chat. It's actually like a chat room, but it's just a normal Google document. I'm able to type words and cyberbully or relay messages to my friends across the entire school site, etc. So the
Yeah.
kids are that like like actual geniuses. I promise you.
Oh my goodness. But I do want to shout out our teachers and our staff members
Yes.
because we are being as vigilant as we possibly can in Google Classroom and on, like you said, some of these live Google documents. And so
Yes.
Dr. Haney has put up our cyberbullying video. And if we have time to watch it,
It's
we
only
can go.
30 seconds, so I'm gonna go ahead and play it for you
That's
guys.
right. Thanks.
Bullying isn't just limited to school. It follows your kids everywhere. It's easy for your child to become a target and easier online. Check your kids' online activity and talk to them about cyberbullying. There's no hiding behind the words they type or the images they post. To learn more, visit smartcyberchoices.org. Calling all parents in partnership with the San Diego Police Foundation Safety Net program, sponsored by ESET and Cox Communications.
I like that video, Dr. Haney.
It really kind of allows you to see a physical representation of what cyberbullying can look like. So, like we've kind of said already, you guys, cyberbullying is bullying through electronic means. So, yeah, of course, we're all old school. Whenever you were on the playground in elementary school, you saw the physical version of bullying. But now all of our babies are on the internet, and so they could be being bullied through electronic means. It can occur on any social media platform. So it does not only occur on Instagram or on TikTok or on whatever your babies are using. It can occur on a Nintendo or PlayStation chat or while they're playing Call of Duty with their friends. So it can occur on any social media platform. It could be potentially fatal, and all children are impacted. It does not matter how you look, how athletic you are, how fit you are,
Yes.
etc. Right? Because bullying, real life physical bullying, is based on someone making observations of you, and they could use like physical insults to hurt your feelings. But cyberbullying, they don't even know how you look, and they're saying inappropriate things to you. So all children are impacted, but of course, unfortunately, girls are more likely to be impacted.
Yeah.
So with cyberbullying versus bullying, like I stated earlier, it can occur anywhere via phone, computers, etc. The worst thing with cyberbullying, it is publicly visible to anyone. We've all heard the word viral, right? It takes
Yeah.
3 seconds for a video to go viral by clicking the word share on Facebook or share on Instagram. So being mindful of that, it can be visible to anyone at all. It's constant. So because it's online and your phone and your computer's with you at all times, you don't have any reprieve from it. So it's not necessarily better to not have to be around it, but it's following you wherever you go. If you're at school, it's on your phone. On the bus, it's on your phone. At home, on your phone. At the dinner table, on your phone.
Wow.
So it's literally following you around no matter where you are. And like I said earlier, it can go viral and it could result in suicide or self harm.
And so, Dr. Haney, when you talk about suicide or self-harm, oh my goodness, right? We see those words, and some of us want to
Yes.
shun away from those topics. But right now, like we talk about the conversations around the dinner table, and the dinner table is just an example. It could be a conversation in the car on the way from school.
Hmm.
How are you feeling today? And asking that question and then waiting for your child's response is so powerful because you are intentionally asking questions about how they're feeling, what their day looks like, and then supporting them in whatever that answer is. So also trying to have a non-judgmental view and response of your child if you know that in your gut or you see something is a little off, asking those types of questions.
Now,
And the
Miss
act-
Griffin, I have a
yeah,
question.
yeah,
If I'm a parent, because I was that child, I will always just say fine. Oh, it was fine today, mom. It was good, a good day. How can a parent effectively pull out more information, if that
yeah.
makes sense, from their student or from their child whenever they pick them up from school or if they're talking around the dinner table?
Right. Sometimes we have to be creative. You know your child or the student that you work with, right? So for
Hmm.
me, I know that my little one really likes ice cream. So if I know that something's off with her and she says fine, I may say, "Hey, you feel like getting some ice cream?" Well, yeah. Well, if I stop and get the ice cream and then I ask her the question again, she
You may
may
get a
be
better
more, "Oh
response.
yeah, I'm going to
Yeah,
get all
okay.
the information about
That's
the day."
smart. I
But we
like
also
that.
but we also have students who don't like to communicate. They may not like to talk, right?
Sure.
So then thinking of other ways. we talk about our young ladies, our girls, they love to journal. They
Mhm.
love to draw. Our little ones love to color. Right now, because everybody has gone through so much, it is difficult to express ourselves with words.
Mhm.
Let's be honest, as adults and as professionals, we are having difficulty expressing ourselves with
And
words.
sometimes our babies don't know how to express themselves using
Yeah,
words, right? They get so
definitely.
overwhelmed, all they can do is cry or act out.
Yes, yes. And that's a whole nother conversation. We talk about acting out and how to address
Mhm.
that at home, but giving them some colors, giving them a sheet of paper, you right?
Mhm.
And then asking that question again, because sometimes they like to test us. They're trying
Mhm.
to say, you're just asking just because, whatever. But if you get home and ask the same question again, no, I really want to know about your day, and sit there and wait to see if you can actually gather a response from them. I think that would be powerful, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very powerful. So let's take a look at this triangle. Okay. So there are bullying actors. Okay. So these characters, as I'll say, we have the child who bullies. So when we talk to the students, it's the bully. Thank you for circling it. I love it. All right. Then we have the child who is bullied. So notice we're not using the word victim here. We're saying the child who is bullied. And then we have the witnesses or the bystanders, right? So what we want to do is help you as parents and our students understand that these are roles. These are roles you assume whether you know it or not. So if Dr. Haney make you the bully right now, okay? You're bullying.
Yes,
All right.
ma'am.
And I'm gonna make Mr. Kuzan the child who is bullied. So there he's being bullied, okay? And I'm gonna be the bystander. I'm watching you bully him. I can either make a choice. That's right. You see, come on, Mr. Kuzan. You can put him on, Dr. Haney. You can go ahead and promote him. Let's promote us, okay? We're
Yes,
we're
yes.
acting for this part. So I see Mr. Kuzan. You're every time you see him, you are kicking his chair. You're hoping that he falls on that floor and he hurts himself. I'm gonna show my camera as well. And he hurts himself, and I'm just watching. And every day I'm
Mhm.
like, ooh, I don't want to say anything because I may be afraid that she's gonna kick my chair. Right? But I am being a bystander. So what I should be doing is learning how to be an upstander, right? So whether that
I
means
love that.
I should be telling a teacher, I could, if I feel comfortable enough, right? I could even say, you know what, Dr. Haney, that's not really right. And he's our friend too, or maybe he's going through something. Or I could even say, Dr. Haney, are you okay? Because you haven't really been yourself lately.
Hurt people hurt people.
Yes. And so
Mhm.
understanding that as a parent to have those types of conversations at home, saying, are you seeing something at school that you want to tell me about? Are your friends doing what they should be doing? Are you acting the way you should? So having them understand that these are roles, whether they're influencing other people, whether there's an imbalance of power, right? And then going from being a bystander to actually being an upstander and standing up for what's right. So let's take a look at what that looks like for our teenagers. If you have that cell phone out and you're recording a fight, that's a problem,
Yeah.
right? So let's take a look at the acronym. Thank you, Dr. Haney. RIP. This is how you know if it's bullying. It is repeated. It occurs time after time. It is intentional. That means that there's a victim, a target, or bully does not provoke bully. And the bully is intentional with behaviors and actions. That means you're doing it on purpose. There
Mhm.
is a power imbalance when one person feels that they cannot stand up for themselves. So if we have, I like to say Sweet Valley High, thinking about the cheerleaders, you have the one person who really wants to be down with the group, right? And she's like, I can't, they're putting me in a tough position because all of these other people want her to do something that she knows is wrong. Well, that's a
Mhm.
power imbalance. You got the cool kids, or you have a group of kids they're afraid of, right? Some of our students are like, well, no, I don't want to be a part. That looks like a gang. So thinking about those things, RIP, is it repeated? Is it intentional? And is there a power imbalance? Somebody wants to exude power and control over you. That's how you know it's bullying. Teasing is different. Teasing is back and forth. Teasing is not repeated. Teasing sometimes is not intentional, but you're joshing around, or you're like we used to say, playing the dozens, right? So that's teasing. Bullying is RIP, and that's how you know, and that's the recipe we talked about earlier.
I love that. Easy to follow, easy to remember as well.
Oh yes.
So
And
a
so
few oh, I'm sorry, Tanya.
no, some
Okay.
statistics. I want to know.
Yes. So I love this graphic, and because it really breaks it down to you. I'm a visual person. It kind of aligns and connects a visual with the actual stat that you're going to read and review. So 34% of all of our babies have been cyber bullied in some capacity. Girls, like I said earlier, are twice as likely to be bullied. There's a higher risk of depression than traditional bullying, right? Because remember, cyberbullying follows you everywhere. You can go to the middle of the Sahara Desert. It's going to follow you because you have your device with you at all times. It's not only at school, it's going to follow you home, in the bathroom, outside at the park with your dog, with your family, etc.
Yeah.
There is a 7 times higher risk for children to be bullied by friends. So oftentimes it is someone that you know that you thought like your baby John was friends with baby Michael, and they grew up together, but then unfortunately, like Ms. Griffin stated, they have maybe a power of influence over them that is having them negatively impact their friends. So typically it is someone that you know as well as your child knows. 70% of students report seeing frequent bullying online.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You
not
see
being a
that?
bystander, being an
Yes.
upstander.
But do you see that percentage though, Dr.
Yes,
Haney?
like that is mind
70%.
blowing. Exactly. 7 out of 10 children have seen someone be bullied online. Like, that's mind blowing.
Yeah.
And then 9 times higher chances of being victim of identity fraud, which is a version of cyberbullying also.
Yes. And so when you talked earlier about suicide and potential self-harm,
Mhm.
those types of things, it's not one incident that causes a child to have suicidal ideations or to cut themselves or to try to have to act fulfilling to perform
Mhm.
self-harm, right? It takes several different incidents over
And
time.
this graphic like gives me chills
Yeah.
because you see the computer screen and how he's being bullied, and then that is his solution to this bullying,
Yeah.
right? So
It's
like this
ongoing.
really, yeah, and it's not, he can't run away from it because it is via the internet.
Yeah.
So
So
some, oh,
potential
I'm sorry,
impacts.
go
No, it's
ahead.
okay. Potential impacts of bullying and cyberbullying. Your child may feel a range of emotions if they are the target of cyberbullying. Disinterested, overwhelmed, anger, isolation,
Mhm.
depression, illness, embarrassment, self-harming thoughts, like we just said, and suicidal. So again, this is why it's so important to have these types of conversations around the dinner table, the couch, the car ride home with a scoop of ice cream. You
And
know?
speaking of the ice cream, so Miss Washington actually put a really great comment in the chat. She said another way to kind of pull out how your child is feeling at the end of the day when you pick them up or when you're talking around the dinner table. Tell me 2 good things that happened. Give them an actual numerical value so that they can't just say fine or it was a good
Yes.
day. Tell me 2 good things that happened, 2 things that frustrated you today. She uses this with her own children, and it's similar to how Ms. Griffin stated the ice cream setting / item. So yes.
Yes, I'm gonna shout Miss Washington out because what she's doing is she is giving us a good tip. Use
Yes.
open-ended questions
Yes.
where you're giving not just a one-word answer. And she's also an eye care specialist
Whoop whoop,
in
I
all of
can't
the schools in
count.
EBR. So you can reach out to her as well. So bullying, cyberbullying, and suicide. Here we are. If the victim of bullying feels like they have nobody to turn to help stop the bullying, they may feel as though nobody cares. Or they deserve not to be helped. That's
Yeah.
something, right? The victim may view life as being hopeless, which can in turn lead to thoughts of suicide or even attempts. Right? Bullying and victimization are frequently associated with the thoughts of suicide or suicide attempts, and that is even per the CDC. Bullying can also cause or deepen depression, anxiety, poor self esteem, feelings of being trapped, self blame, and insomnia. I do want to say this, Dr. Haney. Everything, whether it's good emotions or bad emotions, trauma, resiliency, everything has been magnified now because of what
Mhm.
we've been through collectively with our collective trauma of responding to COVID-19.
Yes.
Right. And we're still actively going through that as a community. So all of these feelings, all of the like the anxiety, the depression, the poor self-esteem, feelings of being trapped, socialization for our teenagers, you may notice changes in yourself, but as an adult, we may be able to communicate that a little bit better. Like you said, use those words of expression.
Mhm.
Our kiddos are not able to do that just yet. They're still developing. So the feelings that they could be having of depression, they don't know how to say, I'm feeling depressed. I don't quite feel like myself. But
Mhm.
that's also being magnified. So just being aware of that as a parent is so essential to their success throughout their life, right?
Definitely. And so here are some strategies that you guys can hopefully do with your children to support them in this crazy digital environment. So, of course, remain diligent. Communicate. Going back to, besides asking them, how was your day? Hey, give me two good things that happened today and two maybe not that great things. Why were you frustrated today? Given those open ended questions, ask specific questions about their online activities. Yeah, I know Bobby's over there at the dining room table watching YouTube, but what is he doing on YouTube? What is he watching on YouTube? Who is he interacting with on YouTube? Ask them about what they think about online bullies.
Yeah.
Have that conversation with them to say, hey, do you think that's a good idea to bully someone? Give them actual real life examples sometimes as well. And then tell them to tell you if they encounter kids being mean online. We want to raise upstanders and not bystanders.
I love that.
So here are a few strategies to support. Decide when your child is ready to use online platforms. So as we stated earlier, for a normal Google account, Gmail, you have to be 13 years old. But I taught fourth and fifth grade, and I knew some of them, and they were like, what, 9 or 10 years old, and some of them had email addresses. So, knowing and deciding when your child is ready to use online platforms, they give you that recommendation of what age a child should be on various social media platforms. It's not just a little sentence. They are using this to hopefully prevent cyberbullying from happening because unfortunately our babies are not ready for all of the stuff that is thrown at them when they log on to social media accounts. Consider your child's maturity level, stress the respect of others, set clear rules and consequences, take the problem seriously, assure your child you will make it stop. So don't just have them tell you, Mom, someone's being mean to me on social media or on Instagram, and you say, oh, okay, baby, and never do anything about it. They want to see you hopefully react and hopefully provide a solution to that problem. Don't react to the bully, and then, of course, record and reports.
Oh yeah, these are some really good strategies. Really, really good strategies.
So here are a few more that kind of breaks it down a little bit more as well. So model good behavior. Have that no internet, no phone time. Turn off your mobile phones. If you're sitting at dinner or if you're going maybe to watch a basketball game or going to the movie theater or you're going out to eat, hey, have like a no cell phone time where you're going to sit down and just spend time together and not have your face in the phone at the entire time. Your children, they're mirroring everything that you do. So if you're always on your phone looking at TikTok or social media, they're going to do the same thing that you're also doing. Pay attention to them. Know where your kids are going online, have their passwords, um, impart your values. Have them understand that cheating, lying, being cruel online is not acceptable and it does have real life consequences, and have them understand the concept of right and wrong that extends past the online world. It comes into your real life. Establish limits. So give them a clear time limit. Do not let them be on social media or on their phone or on the computer all day Saturday. I get it. It's a long work week, a long school week. And so we're dog tired by Saturday. And so you want to just have everyone kind of decompress, but find other ways to decompress.
Yeah.
So have limits on that so that they're not on their mobile phones or on technology all day, and they're kind of overwhelmed with all the things that they see on those platforms.
Now, Dr. Haney, I want to jump in right there when you
Hmm.
said it can be punishable.
Yes.
Punishable not only by the school system, but also punishable by law.
Law.
If your
Yes.
child is 9 years old and
Hmm.
up, bullying and cyberbullying can be punishable by law for that particular student if they're 9 years old and up. And the parent can also be punished as well as incur a fine by the
Yes.
government. So that's something to know that a lot of our parents have did not know. I did not know until I started doing research. So we can be punishable by law as
Yes.
well as have a fine. So that's something to talk to our kiddos about.
And I think that makes families and parents be more accountable because
Yeah,
in the olden days, quote unquote, we never really cared about it, right? Okay,
right.
whatever, that's happening to you. It is what it
Yeah.
is,
You
or
eat your
I don't
tuck.
know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you can unfortunately face consequences because of your child's behavior online.
Yeah.
A few more: encourage balance. Have some offline activities. I feel like no one is outside riding their bike anymore. I used to always stay outside and ride my bike. I'll get dirty, scraped up, run around with my kids, come back
Make mud
home smelling
pie.
all kind of way. Yeah. Like encourage balance, have them have additional activities that do not require a gadget or a mobile device. We have our fine arts summer camps coming up. I just saw the flyer yesterday on the EBR Fine Arts Facebook page. Sign up your baby for one of those courses that they're going to have from May to June.
Yeah, we also have elementary. I think we have elementary sports coming up
Yes,
through
so
the
like sign
district.
them
So
up, like kind of
yeah,
expose them to different things so their face is not in their phone at all times. Make them accountable. I understand that there are babies and your baby may be really really small, like maybe 6 or 7 or 8 years old, but
yeah,
everyone should have some kind of responsibility or accountability with what their actions are. So using digital media as a privilege. Hey, you did a great job today. I'll go ahead and give you 30 minutes on YouTube. Watch whatever
wow,
you would like to watch. Let me know what you're watching.
yeah,
Consider asking your child to complete more tasks or chores before allowing internet time. If their bed isn't made, if their bathroom is a mess, if they haven't washed their clothes or took a shower or brushed their teeth, why should you let them have their phone and get on whatever they would like to get on? So holding them accountable, as well as do your homework. There are so many acronyms and hashtags and emojis that mean something else besides what it actually is supposed to mean. So do your research on the websites and all the things that your kids are interacting with, the songs they're downloading, etc. Even the
right,
apps. It's okay to have I think it's called a Instagram, a fake Instagram,
yeah.
and follow and see what's going on Instagram, Facebook, etc. Just so that you're not ignorant to what is going on around you, and then remain knowledgeable into how and why they're using tech so that they don't have a free reign.
So wait, you're telling us to create a Finstagram to watch
Yes,
our
nothing. And
kids?
then if
So
you would
that's
like to do
okay to
that,
do. I want you to give us
hey,
permission today to create a
I'm giving
Finstagram.
you permission to either do that, or if you're bold enough and you want your kids to know that you're watching, go ahead and have your own personal account and follow them.
That's
Do
right,
not be afraid to follow your babies on social media because they need to know that you're watching at all times. And
right.
remember to have their passwords also.
And I'm gonna throw this out there. You want to know what they tell us? They tell us that, believe it or not, if they fuss at you for doing it, they come to us and they say that they know you care more about them because
Yes,
you do it. So it's
yes.
almost like, like a rite of passage. Like, I want to see if they're really gonna check for me. Yeah, go ahead and
Hmm.
do it. Go ahead and do it.
And
I'm gonna create
honestly,
a Instagram.
they know that we're not digital natives, right? They know
Right.
that this technology
They do.
boom is something that's a little scary to their parents or their grandparents or whoever is their guardian. So showing them that you know what that hashtag means or what that emoji means, kind of lets them say, okay, I can't get around everything with my mom because she knows what I'm actually interacting with and who I'm following on Instagram, etc. So just remaining knowledgeable as well as understanding what all the things your child is interacting with online.
Yeah.
Being a good internet citizen so that they are not um having those experiences that are negative to them, their mental health, their physical health as well as others that are around them, is what we have to all do and make sure that our kids are following that. So not only parents, of course teachers as well, because when the kids come to school, they're with their teachers for 8 hours a day. We have to ensure that they're being great positive internet citizens online and doing the correct procedures online, and they're not interacting inappropriately. So when in doubt, think about it and talk it out. Have those open-ended questions like Tanya mentioned, and not have one answer kind of question. Give me some reasons why. Why do you feel fine? What happened today? Tell me something great that you think happened today that you would like to happen tomorrow also.
Definitely. And how can you help? Notice you recognize any changes in behavior and try to find out what the cause may be. Even if you have a gut feeling about something, you want to follow up with that, right? Talk.
Hmm.
Ask questions to learn what is happening, how it started, everyone involved, and get a lot of details because you want to document, right? Keep a record of what's happening, take screenshots of harmful posts, anything that you see, even if it's something that your child comes home with. It could be a note, right? It could be a picture, it could be something that you see on the phone or on the computer. Take a shot of that. You want to report it. You want to report it, whether it's to parents, to teachers, to law enforcement, the school principal. You can give iCare a call. Like I said, we're on every school campus. So you can report it. And then you want to support. Reach out to the person or your child with positive words to try and shift the conversation in a positive direction. right? Because we don't want to say something, if a child comes to report it, I don't believe you, you're lying. Don't do that. You want to support. Even if it's something that you may consider small, from their perspective, it could be something that's really, really huge. Like we said, it takes a whole bunch of drops of things happening for suicidal ideations to happen, as well as thoughts of self-harm. So support your school community with school side prevention campaigns such as bully prevention, such as Red Ribbon. We have suicide prevention in, I want to say, September. So look for those types of campaigns and support those campaigns and have conversations around them. As well as our ed tech department, Dr. Haney helps us to be more vigilant on the tech side, right? So how can we support you all in your department?
So just having us be aware of the different types of influences that children can interact with on a day-to-day basis, and then allowing us to make the connections on the technology side and see how that same thing that is happening in the physical world could also happen in the online virtual world. So
Yeah.
I know we have an amazing relationship with iCare. They're always teaching us things about SEL, mindfulness, bullying, etc. So we're able to make those connections in the tech world to better equip all of our school leaders, our teachers, parents, etc., on what to look for in the classroom.
That's right. And so a reminder is, once it's out there, you can't
You
get it
can't
back.
get it back.
Love
Yes.
the graphic of that toothpaste. I did it this morning. I said, oh, I pulled too much out. And guess
Yes.
what? I couldn't get that toothpaste back in that tube. It's out there. So
Yep.
you rethink before you post. Cyberbullying, bullying, once you have offended somebody, once you have said something, once you have done something, it's there. And it takes so much time to repair that relationship or that situation. So you can't get it back. So just be
And
mindful of that.
and it takes so much time to repair that, but it takes literal seconds to make something go viral. So
Ooh,
being mindful of all of that, we cannot delete anyone's memory. I wish I had the Men in Black little thing where I can just have somebody's memory get erased.
flashlight.
Unfortunately, we can't. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't. So we have to be mindful as adults, as parents, as wives, husbands, boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever, nieces, aunts. We have to ensure that all of our loved ones are being influenced properly and they have the support to get them through anything that may not be on the positive side.
Yeah, even our colleagues. I love that you said
Yes.
adults as well. So even if you notice a coworker, something's going on, speak up about that. Be an upstander.
Yes.
And so again, here's our closing slide. Again, this is my information. If you want to reach out about the eye care program, I'm the quality assurance manager. Our program director is Miss Erin Pusho Bradford. And so that's my email. Our phone number is 225-226-2273. If you want more information about the eye care program, or you want to refer your own child, yes, we do that as well. If you want to refer your own child to us, you can do so by email or by phone. We have a specialist in every single school in East Baton Rouge Parish. Many of our private and parochial schools we are servicing, as well as charter. So if you need us, we are here. And Dr. Haney, how can we get in contact with you and your phenomenal tech department?
So I'm not gonna lie, y'all. My team is amazing. They're at every single school. They're always supporting teachers as well as school leaders. You can of course email me at sglasper1@ebrschools.org. If you would like to visit our website, we're slowly pushing out some items for parents to be able to access, to be more knowledgeable on all the things that we have in our district for technology purposes. I am housed at the PDC on North Sherwood, and my phone number is right there, 226-4812.
And something I do want to note, you said phenomenal tech team. So I'm a parent, so I know I need to go to AR Book Find and look up those AR books. I also use
Yes.
the Renaissance system. I know Canva is there, Canvas, and look, Canva and Canvas. I'm still learning. I'm immigrant. And then there's all those other apps that we have to go through Clever.
Yes.
It's your department that helps
It
have
is.
access
It
to those
is. So
apps.
I'm sure you guys have heard the word Clever from your babies before when they come
Yes.
home. Our team handles Clever, all of the apps, Achieve 3000, all those things that y'all are hearing. You're like, what is a Clever? Oh yeah, I'm
Right.
clever, but what is a Clever?
Yes.
We are the people that handle those things. So
Yes.
we're only a phone call away or email away. Just reach out and let us know if you need support.
Right. So if you get locked out of Clever, you
Yes.
look for Dr. Haney.
Yes, there you go.
No, but it has been a complete joy to be with you, Dr. Haney. Thank you so much for tying in the resources that we needed to see behind cyberbullying and bullying. We would love for you to continue to watch Parent University throughout each month until the end of the school year. And some more phenomenal things are going to be coming from Mr. Kuzan regarding Parent University. Please go ahead and scan this link. As always, we like to evaluate how we're doing. What types of information do you want more of? If you have any feedback that you want to share with us, this particular Google form that you scan will take you to a location. Give us the information. We will hear you and hopefully continue to help out with whatever you need. We appreciate your time today, your lunch and learn. And Mr. Kuzan, thank you so much for the invitation, for
Yes.
having myself and Dr. Haney. We appreciate you and everything that you do.
You're
We
muted,
want
Mr.
to hear
Kuzan.
you. St. Patrick's
Yes,
Day.
I want to hear
There
that
we
that
go.
beautiful voice.
I'm
There you
unmuted
go.
now.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you guys so much. You know, you started off earlier asking everyone, what are you grateful for? I am grateful for working with such talented people like yourselves. Man, this was an awesome presentation. I learned some things. I'm old. I guess I'm a digital immigrant because, yes, I learned quite a few things as well. And I will impart that information, of course, on my college age son. And
Love it.
eventually, when I get grandkids, let him take his time. But nevertheless, this was some great information that you ladies shared this morning. I hope that our listening audience gained a lot of information as I have. And I hope you continue to stay tuned with us. Next month, we will be meeting again on Thursday, April 21st. We'll go back from lunch and learn to an evening session. It will be a start at 6 p.m. promptly. The focus for next month's session is home ownership. And we'll have an expert with the Urban Restoration Enhancement Corporation, other known as UREC, Miss Marion Zachary. She's going to impart some knowledge on upon us or for us regarding home ownership. And right now, I don't know if you've been paying attention like I have with everything that's going on with the crisis in Ukraine, and of course with inflation, the Feds have increased the interest rates. So if you're thinking about home ownership, maybe now's the time to make it happen before those rates continue to climb. Once again, I want to thank Ms. Tanya Griffin, Chapman Griffin from iCare, Dr. Sahara Haney from our Ed Tech department. Great job, ladies. I am so grateful to you. I owe you lunch. And once again, to our listening audience, thank you for tuning in. Please join in next month for another wonderful session of Parent University. Have a great afternoon.